Good morning, Year 11 and 12 gentlemen. We're up here just trying to make sure the technology is right out there. Good morning to teaching staff and other staff who are tuning in today. Welcome also to those Year 11 and 12 men who aren't on campus today and are tuning in from home. Everyone is welcome to our briefing. Nudgy men, we just wanted to catch up with Year 11s and 12s before the whole school comes back on Monday to give some important updates on things that are specific to Year 11 and 12. Firstly, can I say congratulations to Year 11 and 12 men on the way you have carried yourself over the last 2 weeks at school. Feedback has been really strong from teachers and other staff about how calm, relaxed, and how appropriate for your age the school grounds has been. In standing with Mr. Fulliger last Friday, we reflected on a different feel to Nudgy with the grade 11s and 12s here in a really, really positive way, reminding Sir of some of the senior colleges he has seen in other states. Nudgy certainly has had that feel. Well done on the way you have conducted yourself, have engaged in classes, engaged with teachers and staff over the last 2 weeks. It's been good to have you back, and you have led over that time. I encourage you, when the rest of the school come back next week, to keep that style going, and we will have a great 2020. Nudgy men and staff, just an outline of what we're going to hear over the next 25 minutes. Shortly, we're going to hear from our college captain, importantly, for the first time in a while, and it'll be great to have Injara back speaking to you. Mr. Mara will give us an outline about Kairos and about social justice activities that are coming up for the end of this term and next term and the rest of the year. Gentlemen, I'll be talking about formals and semi-formals, mid-year prefects and Year 11 leadership processes. Mr. Stewart will give us an update on performing arts, what's happening now and what will be happening over coming months. And then Mr. Cannellan will talk about GPS sport and where we are with that at the moment, and then into term 3. So gentlemen, welcome again. Congratulations. I hope you find this briefing very useful. If this generates questions over today, please make sure you seek different people out in the yard at morning tea and at lunch, people who present today. But also you can email with clarifying questions as well. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I call on our college captain, Injara Harbour.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, staff, and my Nudgy brothers. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for your application and conduct as we collectively deal with COVID-19. We cannot control when restrictions ease or what the government says, but we can continue to lead within our households, boarding houses, and here on campus. When the rest of the school returns next week, we must continue to lead regarding health regulations and our response in the classroom. It is easy and convenient to make excuses in times like these, but we must commit ourselves and invest wholeheartedly in creating a positive contribution and creating a safe environment for everyone. The core, or strength in the stripes, is about what we do in situations like this. Strength to do schoolwork in the midst of disruption, strength to consciously abide by rules that challenge regular routine, strength to understand that things are just going to be different for a while. It'd be easy to think about what we may have lost during quarantine and lockdown, but why not consider what we've gained? We've gained more resilience through this that can be taught in a lifetime. We've gained a new appreciation for what we have here at Nudgy and must vow not to take it for granted. We've gained a new understanding that we have a responsibility to our brothers and sisters to make a difference. With all of us uniting again next week, let's begin with the end in mind, and the end is this: a more unified community showing empathy for each other and a renewed commitment to making the most of the opportunity that is a Nudgee education.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to take a little bit of time out of period one to speak to you today. Gentlemen, I have some tentative good news for both Year 12 and Year 11. I know one of the more concerning aspects of counselling Term 1 and Term 2 events was the question about what would happen to Kairos. Hopefully, and I'll issue the usual caveats at the end, hopefully we will go on Kairos in its full extent in week 3 of next term. We have our 5 venues booked, we have the staff still committed, and we hope that from the 29th of July to the 31st of July, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of week 3 next term, all Year 12s will be heading off to 5 venues to experience the Kairos retreat. And it gives me great joy to be able to share that with you today. Likewise, Year 11 students, I know that many of you are concerned about the ability to be able to gain experiences that contribute towards the formation of your leadership for our college next year. Next term, we hope to start moving to opening up some of those social justice programs that enable you to build that experience and that exposure to leadership in our community. There'll be more details following about that. I want to thank Mrs. Kennedy for her stewardship of the program during the lockdown and for the staff who have taken your place in reaching out to the homeless and the underprivileged in Brisbane by our support of the Emmanuel City Mission. That will continue, but also we hope to bring back online in a modified form to start with our other outreach programs. Now, as I said, there is always the ongoing caveat that things continue as planned, that the government doesn't have to alter any of the roadmap, and that the roadmap continues to open up slowly and safely over the next few months. But given the changes on the roadmap already, we are confident that we can make these announcements today, and we live in hope that things won't change and that we can move into Term 3 with the promise of these great things to come.
Thank you, sir. Year 11 and 12 men, now a bit of an update on some milestone events for every Year 11 and 12 student every year. So firstly, to seniors, the formal. The formal is set down for July the 12th. Of course, due to the restrictions, that date is now postponed. And so we won't be able to have our senior formal on July the 12th as we normally do. We have a backup date at this stage for September the 20th. And yesterday, it was with pleasure I signed a contract with our venue for that September the 20th. That is the Sunday at the end of Term 3. Gentlemen, beyond that, we have a further backup date of the 4th of October and another backup date of Sunday, the 18th of October. So you can see we are fairly determined, if we can, to make sure that we have that event for you, and I'll be keeping you posted about that based on the restrictions. The key number for us there is gatherings of 500 or more, because that is the number of people we would have at our formal. To Year 11 men, this year we decided on a venue change to make that Year 11 semi-formal an even more special night. And we have contracted Gianni's at Portside for the first time. At this stage, the date of the 13th of August stays in place, but we are trying to work with Gianni's to have a backup date as well for you, again, with our intention that that semi-formal definitely happens this year. To the senior boys, while may not be as important to you as it is to your mothers, it is also our intention to have the mother and son lunch that was in May and had to be postponed. further details about that for later in the year to come. A number of seniors have asked about mid-year prefect process, and that will go ahead as normal. And there has been just as many opportunities to lead in recent times in a different way as there has been in a very normal year here at Nudgee. However, we will just put that back a few weeks. So traditionally in week 1 of semester 2, week 1 of term 3, we have announced mid-year prefects. Stay tuned for that, gentlemen. There will be that process and they will be recognised, but that'll be a few weeks into term 3. Likewise to year 11, I know many of you are thinking about leadership, how you are doing that and what that might mean for you next year. And Mr. Tuvey will send an email to you shortly outlining the process, which will largely be in term 3. Gentlemen and staff, let's hear now about things beyond the classroom with our co-curricular program. Firstly, from Mr. Stewart in Performing Arts, and then Mr. Cannellan in GPS Sport.
Good morning, colleagues and gentlemen. As many of you may know, this is my first year at Nudgee, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm sure you'll agree this isn't the way that I thought that the year would unfold. But in the middle of all these feelings of what we've lost and things that are different, I'm also looking at all the things that we've gained, and as Injara said earlier, the opportunities that have been presented to us. I've seen Nudgee brothers come together in the last few weeks in ways that seem to be only surface details at the beginning of the year. And I've been impressed by the pride that so many of you have shown. How you look out for your friends, which is easy, but also how you look out for people who are strangers, which is not as easy and has more risk, and is also a step into the unknown. And so it's this unknown that has forced us to work in new ways and will force us to forge new pathways. So I can tell you today, gentlemen, that all ensembles and activities will recommence on Monday. So please be in contact with your teachers and your coaches, and keep checking with all the usual modes of communication that you have with them. We will be following the government guidelines as we move through the stages towards term 3. At first, we will only meet in groups of 10. So for those of you who have larger groups than that, this could mean that you might break into smaller numbers. You will be asked to observe physical distancing guidelines, and I thank you for your assistance and for also showing your leadership to younger members of the school. Speaking of leadership, I also appeal to your leadership for year 11 and 12. You might be asked in these situations to lead a small group, to lead an ensemble, to lead a small sectional, while your teachers journey from place to place to see how things are going. Please use this as an opportunity to rise to the occasion, which I know you will. Hopefully by stage 3, we'll be able to meet in groups of 100, but we don't know what this will mean for holding events. Will audiences and spectators feel confident even gathering together at this time? It will probably mean that we have to be creative about how this will happen. But with every opportunity and every challenge, there's an opportunity. And I'm in touch with the student leadership regularly, and we're working on several ideas. So please watch this space. Finally, I want to thank you all for your work over the last few weeks. For those of you who have participated in the Interhouse Chess last Friday, for those of you who will be participating in the upcoming oratory competition, for those of you who participated in the weekly photography competition, and especially I want to thank those boys who showed their leadership and pride by taking part in the college song. For many of you, I realize that was a very confronting situation, but you put your school and your Nudgee brothers ahead of yourself, and I want you to know how much I respect you for that decision. So over the coming weeks, we will have more events to make sure that we remain connected to our college and remain connected to each other. So I hope you will use these as opportunities to get involved and show your strength in the stripes. Thank you, boys.
Morning, gents and staff. This morning we were hopeful to provide you with an update about sport before going to the community over the next few coming days. As you're very well aware, we're currently in stage 1 of easing of restrictions. So what does that look like for us? And GPS have certainly given us some strong guidelines to follow. So it means no formal sport, training and or trials, no indoor gym or gymnasium training. What it does mean is we can do some recreational activity, some fitness and some well-being activity, as long as we stick to the groups of 10. So what are we doing at Nudgee to support you from a well-being point of view and also to prepare you for the sport opportunities that lie ahead? We're very mindful that your well-being is a focus for us here, so keeping you active and fit is very important. So we're offering recreational activities such as boot camps, which will include some outdoor gym, balance and stability and game structure, which is preparing you for your sports next term. We've also got recreational running, swimming programs running, so please contact the sports office if you're interested in taking part in those. Tennis, you're allowed to play one-on-one tennis down in the courts. They are now open. And basketball, the Mount Zion courts are also open for some one-on-one shooting and individual skills. Once again, we're always following those strict guidelines of numbers. For Term 3, we're very excited to present as close to normal model as we can. So it is looking very likely that basketball, chess, cross-country, football, rugby and tennis will all get an opportunity to play and compete in Term 3. Basketball, chess, football and tennis, we're very hopeful of running as normal. So that means a normal competition from week 1 through to week 10 in Term 3. Rugby will have a slight delay due to the contact preparations required, and we'll have a further date on that in the coming weeks. Cross country will also have their championships, and again, we're just waiting for some bookings with Limestone Park. That's possibly will happen over 2 venues due to, again, some of the numbers and restrictions in place. Probably wanted to allude you to a couple of other points of interest for you and some challenges that we're going to have. Certainly we're excited about opportunities and what can look looking forward, but there will be some challenges. We're still not sure about the restrictions, so we don't have an answer to how many people and spectators we will be able to have at our home days. We still don't have a clear answer around canteens, coffee vans, post-match functions and so on as they normally would. So we'll be working through those challenges. The other challenge I wanted to throw out to you was, well, how can we make a meaningful home day experience? So I'm really interested in boys coming forward with some great ideas on how we can make our home days as special as possible and memorable for you. Mr. Graham, for example's already got some ideas around pre-game shows that might include some interviews of captains, might include the team of the week from the previous week, some highlight footage, etc. So there's already some really good planning going on, but I challenge you guys to come up with some good ideas for us as well. Just as I finish, as some of the other staff have said, we're seeing this as a really big opportunity. The staff in the sports office are extremely excited about providing you with a best possible experience. So we hope you come on board with us. We're certainly half glass full and we're looking at all the positives and how we can give you the best experience, and we're hoping you're coming on board with us. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen and staff, we're almost done. Just a few more minutes now with some final announcements before we finish period 1. Just firstly call our college captain forward, who's acting as a model for us today, Nudgee gentlemen, at the very exciting launch of a new piece of Nudgee apparel, the Nudgee hoodie. And the Nudgee hoodie is on sale in the locker room from this morning. So a year or two ago, the boarding leaders talk to Mr. Anetto about the possibility of Nudgee having a hoodie. And things at Nudgee take time, and we always use process. And we have ended up with this hoodie for sale. So we're excited about that. So this is a student-only piece of apparel. Staff, if you're interested in a hoodie, you might talk to Mr. Cannellan about designing one for staff. But this is a student-only piece of apparel. And it is for high school students at Nudgee only, 7 to 12. What are the rules around that for us? It's not part of any formal uniform. So, gentlemen, this would never be worn as part of our summer or formal uniform. Very similar to our senior jersey. It fits into the appropriate contexts around sports training and perhaps attending sports games, but would never replace the formal uniform in any way. Thank you to all the people involved in planning that garment and for it now being on sale at Nudgee from this morning for $75. I look forward to seeing you wear that. Of course, never at school during the day, Nudgee men. One clarifying thing to boarders, I'm sure there'll be plenty of boarders wearing that around the college grounds, but gentlemen, you wouldn't wear that to breakfast, again, because we are wearing always our school uniform to breakfast. The Nudgee hoodie, another innovation for the college. Gentlemen, in conclusion, thank you for your attendance today. Going into this year when the college captains, in working with seniors, came up with the motto, "Strength in the Stripes," I certainly thought it was a good motto back in January. But how absolutely brilliant has it been in our recent times, and how meaningful is it now for the remainder of 2020? That we illustrate strength in the stripes. And at Nudgee, we always do that through our connection with each other and our relationship to each other. So if there's things that you've heard today that you have questions about, please be open in asking those questions. If there's things that you are upset about, or there are other things that you have been struggling with or are confused or upset about, reach out to people, ask mates. Talk to teachers who you have a relationship with. Connect with house deans, heads of boarding house, people on the leadership team. Gentlemen, we are here as part of that strength in the stripes. Have a great day. Well done on the last 2 weeks. You have earned your early mark for tomorrow afternoon, and we look forward to having the whole college back on Monday. Thank you.